Welcome to Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing. What if you could learn from experienced real estate investors, find out what got them to where they are now, get insight into their daily habits, and take these insights to inspire your own growth? Each week, Jonathan Green shares an in-depth look at the mindful approach to real estate investing. Jonathan is a lifelong real estate investor, advisor, and coach, as well as the founder and team leader of Streamlined Properties. Whether you're looking to start from scratch, get to the next level, or just for a straightforward and honest approach to real estate investing, Jonathan seeks to provide a free mentorship program you can take with you anywhere. Now, here's Jonathan.
Welcome back to another week of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing. Got a great show for you today. My guest is Nick Disney from Sell My San Antonio House. You know what's coming. This is about local home buying and how to become the most trusted home buyer in your town. If you don't think you can start from scratch, get ready, because Nick's going to tell you how he did right now. This is episode 263 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Nick Disney. Nick is the founder of Sell My San Antonio House. I think you know where this is going. Nick started this company with the idea of buying just a few houses to fix up to help provide for his family. That lasted 10 years, turned into over a few hundred, and now they're buying all across San Antonio and other parts of Texas. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like this journey because I know you didn't think it was going to become this big. Why did you get into it in the first place?
I've always had a great work ethic, so I would work hard, but I had the job like a lot of people, and I wanted a little bit more. And so you start researching, looking around, and, it's everybody's found the stats, real estate is, 90% of the millionaires and things like that. So I was like, okay, I know about houses. I did not know about houses, right? But
you've seen them.
Right, yeah. I thought I knew stuff because I'd fixed things with my dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I kind of understand this. I could do this outside of my work hours. And the goal was just to kind of supplement my income. From that turned into learning about cash flow and how assets can provide for you. And that was super exciting to me. And then, the pieces just kept building.
Yeah, it's interesting, though, because you got in with almost a small scale, which is smarter, not thinking like, oh, I have to turn this into, 100 houses a year. What really, kind of the light bulb went off when you saw different ways that you could use real estate? Like you could keep it as a rental, you could flip it, you could wholesale it. A lot of options, especially when you're becoming a local home buyer.
At first, I thought, I'll probably flip houses, right? Because you see all the... a lot of people going in, and I was very naive, and, you see all oh man, this is so much fun. This is going to be so great. Everything is so easy to do this.
Yeah, and, great TV shows.
And so I got in with that idea, but then I realized it wasn't unique, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's true. It taught me because no one had shown me, all right, if you own an asset and then you get someone else to pay him, and then that will pay for the other stuff that you want. I was like,
yeah, right.
Wait a minute. This is super basic, but makes a lot of sense. And that's what kind of started me down the rental path and then later into owner finance.
Yeah. So, how did you get started? Did you just come up with the idea? I think you got into something where you're locking it in, so you knew you'd have leads coming in.
So when I got started, I was just looking for a house that I could buy and fix up. And I understood I could add value to this house and then just have some kind of equity or some kind of profit. I didn't have the best plan. As I started to do a few more deals, what I learned is you want to market to find the best deals.
Yeah.
And that's where I started the path of marketing, which I've spent a ton of time now, the last 15 years marketing. We buy houses, cash for houses, as a local home buyer, mainly online. Most of our leads do come from online. And so, like anything that you do for a long time, I've learned a ton.
Yeah. There's a big learning curve, though, on which appointments to take, because I suppose if you're like me, in the beginning, when I would do marketing at any time in my life, there's so many leads, I would start going, I'm so excited. And then I realized most of these appointments are terrible. We're not even close on the numbers, and I wasn't doing a good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I got the first ones, I was like, someone told me this. They're like, go anyway, because you're going to mess it up. And it's better to mess one of these up that you aren't going to buy anyway. And I sure did. Right. Yeah. And so, you just read what you heard somebody say.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. It does come with time. I do believe that you do all right, if you've never been on like a lead to buy a house, yes, I do think just go ahead and mess it up. It's okay. You weren't going to buy it anyway. But as you get more, you've got to protect your time, and it's better for you, but it's also better for the person that called you.
Yeah, of course.
Because they are, sometimes they're looking for someone to come in and help them and save them. And if you can't do that, you're doing them a disservice by giving the idea that maybe you can. It's better to be honest and maybe shift them to somebody who can, rather than go and say, well, I'm going to try. If you sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, I think people before they get into it are just thinking, well, people just want money, when really 98% of off-market sellers need a problem solved, whatever it is, but it's always different. So your marketing that you do for off-market is really just to get in contact with the person, because you don't know what their problem is, and you can't send 33 different variations of postcards out. Are you in pre-foreclosure? All these things, and you don't want to, make them upset. So how did you figure out the delicate balance of what goes out in the marketing and then how to relate to the person when you get there, which is, I think, what people are missing?
I completely agree with you. And I think what you just said is a great statement, that it's not about the money. It's about, can you solve the problem and can you take the weight away from that seller, whatever that weight is. And so the marketing now, we just learned by, okay, how many calls do we have? What questions did people usually ask us? What were their concerns? And the houses we bought, was it about the money, or was it about we were able to solve their problem? Most of the time, like you said, they have a problem, and we could not list all of the problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. I read something on your website that I think is important. You were basically saying what I think is important, like, we'll close whenever you want to. And that goes to like buy and lease back, a lot of opportunities, which I think are great when you're an off-market buyer. But I think when people learn the business or they take some, course, it's just telling them to go in and jam cash, which they don't have, into their face. And the people are like, but I don't have anywhere to go. Which, of course, I think is the most important. Where are you going is always my first question. And if they say, I don't know, we're not close to a sale. Doesn't matter what you do. If you don't know where they're going to go, you can't close the property.
It doesn't. You can't close the property. They need somewhere to go. And sometimes they need help with that plan.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not, well, this person just said this number over the phone, but they don't have any idea what's going on. And I'm like, yeah, and that's not, one, that's probably not a realistic number. And two, it's not really going to solve your problem. We learned early, because some people would call, be like, well, hey, I don't want to close in 7 days. Yeah, of course, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
When do you want to close? And, we're going to be buying houses this month, next month, and the following month. Could I do it this day? You bet. And sometimes that's it. And you just hear them like, oh, great. When can you come over?
Yeah. But that, because marketing only can tell one story. And I think they don't realize from their end, like, oh, wait, are there options here? Just because they probably get a lot. If they're on the list, if you're looking for 10 years owned, or, didn't pay their water bill or something, everyone's mailing the same list. So it's not like you're the only postcard in the game. So you kind of have to differentiate yourself. So I always tried to make it a little bit more like, just not pushy, because I've looked at all the marketing. Pushy marketing does well, but don't you think the more, I guess I would say, pushy your marketing is, the more appointments you'll get? But I don't think that translates to closings, because that just means bigger problems when they call right away.
Yeah, I don't think it at all attributes to more closings, because we have bought a lot of houses because they were like, will you really listen to me? And I really felt just more confidence that you would be able to do it versus somebody else. Some of that comes because we've been around so long and we really can do it. And we can explain the process better. But also, it's that sometimes we'll just listen to them. And other people, they went in with their speech and they You didn't ask them. You don't even know what's going on.
I think that's the funny thing about off-market marketing and how people are trained. It's they're trained to send this, cash postcard, and then you get there and it's an estate. And things work different with an estate. Do you even know if all of the people who are decision makers now as heirs are even here? Because we all know they're all going to disagree on what to do. So it's going to take you a while. And some people, you go in, there's a ton of repairs to be made. So what they thought the value isn't even close. It's just like you were saying, we could never list all of these things. So how do you adapt on site? What you're saying and what I'm agreeing with is, how about just be a human and talk to the person?
Have a conversation.
See what's going on. Don't push it right away, because once you're in the door, the longer you stay, I think the closer you are to a sale, as opposed to the people who are like, let me just get in, do my pitch and get out. That's not a close thing ever.
And at worst, if you take time and listen to them and try to help them, even if you don't get it, at worst, you've helped somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many times it's happened, but I can picture several in my head where I came to your house, we spent time, we discussed your problem. They actually went with someone else.
Yeah.
And then later they called us back with a referral. Like, hey, I didn't go with you. I really like you better. My friend needs to do this, And I'm like, sure, we'll go talk to him. No hard feelings. You made the decision you wanted. Oh, we get a ton that come back, because I disagree with our industry when it teaches people just go out and get it locked up or get it contracted.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, it makes no sense.
You don't know what to do with it. You don't have any money. You don't have any access to any money.
Yeah, exactly.
People believe you. They believe you, and they had all these plans. I mean, we buy a lot of deals like that, and it is an unfortunate part of our industry.
Yeah, I think it goes to kind of a short-term mentality and guru courses, people. Look, even the guru courses, the information in there is pretty relevant. It's just really about what you do, and everybody's so focused on the technology to get you the leads, and really the money's made when you get to the leads, and the leads are people.
Mm-hmm. The leads are people.
It's just about listening and understanding, as you said. And I think, as what's important for you now, like, a lot of people know you, they know the brand, that certainly helps. And you can say, oh, do you know Sally on the block? And they're like, oh yeah, you help them. Yeah. But I think really, to your point, is sometimes they just want to go with someone who's going to pay more. I'm all for that. Sometimes I'll tell them, look, if they're going to pay you that much cash, take it and run. Like, it's too much. Maybe they're dumb. I don't know, but take it, because I'm not coming close to that. So take that. And then if you need help afterwards, just let me know. And I feel like that's the same type of person that you are. Absolutely. You're there to give them the best advice. If someone wants to throw them more money, like, they should take that. I don't want to lock it up when they can get more money.
Yeah. And there's so many houses out there, and we're not just trying to buy one house one time. And a lot of those, we also know that number's not realistic. And I'm saying, I don't think that's realistic, but they will. Yeah. You should take it, but just go ahead and save the number. Lots of times we get a call back. Well, hey, they weren't maybe what they said they were. Can we come back and talk about it again? Sure. Happy to.
Yeah, because a lot of the companies are using VAs, or the people don't live there, and they're virtual wholesaling. So they just look up the value on whatever program they have, Zillow or something, and they send them this estimate. This is what we'll offer. And then they don't realize that it needs like a new septic and the plumbing's shot. But then again, like you said, then that seller feels like you've lied to them, because generally you have. And I think what they really want is just trust. They'll take a lot less for trust. They just need to get out of the situation.
100%. 100%. They believe that you will come through and you can do it, and they trust you. It's not, like you said earlier, it's not just about the money. And so, yeah, a lot of these companies, especially out of state, we see them all the time. Well, this company in Florida called me and they said they're going to give me this. Well, they're not. And then, a week later, I see it come through as like a wholesale deal for $10,000 more, which no one is going to buy.
Yeah,
no one's buying.
There's so many weird stuff I've seen in the wholesaling industry. Some of these large companies that will buy stuff off the MLS and wholesale it, and then I'll tell them, well, why would I buy it? I could have just bought it off the MLS like you. Why would I now pay more for something I could have got for less? This doesn't make sense. This is why direct to seller is so important in the business.
I love direct to seller. It's one of the pieces that's made us successful. And I definitely think whenever people are ready that they can go direct to seller, they should. It's not for everybody, depending on what your investment strategy is and how much time you have. But direct to seller is the best.
Yeah, well, talk to the audience about how quickly it ramped up, because I think it is something that seems like, hey, this is doable. Like you said, I can do this as a side job. But if you get good at it, it's now 2 jobs. Mm-hmm. So how did you know when you could really like, hey, I got to focus on this. I just got too many leads coming in. I'm getting good at leads. I can't have this many conversations.
So it's when I didn't feel like I could get to the leads fast enough. I knew I wasn't doing as good a job, because like you said earlier, it's one thing to produce the leads, but then if you can't talk to the people and work through the leads and close the deals, but there's no profit, there's no money made. And for me, I was working, and so you could do it after, and I had flexibility, so I could in between make phone calls, and And I changed in my car a lot. Like I'd be wearing like my corporate clothes and I would change in the car into something, and then I would go and I would like change back.
Yeah. Lunch break move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all the time. But as it grew, I also focused a lot on building cash flow.
Yeah.
And so I think as you do that and you have this, there's ways to make your cash flow very predictable. And so I had that coming in addition to this. And I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. And I just need to be in here all the time in order to really grow it.
Yeah. I mean, let's go through your potential dispositions, at least for your business. I mean, will you hold some, will you buy and lease back to some? What are your options when you're out there personally on a potential buy? Are you just trying to buy them all? Will you wholesale some? What are you working with?
So we don't wholesale hardly at all now. If we're going to go in there, we're looking at three things. So we have a rental portfolio. We're not adding to the rental portfolio now. So if we go view something, if it's a great rental, we're not looking to hold it as a rental. So we don't do many traditional flips now either. We will wholesale. Right. We'll actually we'll purchase it.
I love a wholesale. Just for people who don't know, tell them what a wholesale is. It's my favorite. And I think it's just like a much more secure way of wholesaling.
I agree with all of that. And also with the right property, there's a lot of advantages. But what we'll do is, we'll come out there. Hey, we'll agree to purchase it. We will purchase it. We are not assigning this, but we're not going to do a full rehab on it. We may do a clean out,
get out the lipstick,
right? Yeah, we'll do a trash out or something, and then we will look to sell it. It does a couple of things. One, it takes the time crunch of closing and you assigning, and now the person that's buying that contract from you actually closing. You own it. You do need more capital, right? Your capital or access to capital. But then you can do anything. You can put it on the MLS. You got plenty of time to shop it around. You can sell it to a home. And so it works great with certain types of property depending on your market when you get there. So we will wholesale, clean things up, just kind of trash out and resell them. But the main focus of our business now is owner finance.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to talk about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we'll purchase the property. We will renovate the property. So it's, it's a solid house, and then we'll sell it. But when we sell it, we're getting a down payment. We're going to carry the note. So they're going to make their payment to us. And that's how we create cash flow now. So to answer your question, we're going to go in. If it's a good deal and we're helping the seller, we will buy it. But we'll either probably wholesale it or owner finance it, just because we're not adding to the rental portfolio. And the ones...
Yeah. But that's interesting, though. You're not buying on seller finance, at least not in bulk. You're selling on seller finance to create the cash flow windfall, which I think is really, really smart. It's kind of like a rent-to-own philosophy for the people. And I mean, it's not because they're buying it, but it's just like, I love it. I think it's a great idea. And that's really the magic to the business and how to grow, because wholesaling can just be so murky, and it would kind of get you maybe downgrade your reputation if you were trying to do wholesales, to get $10,000 when you have all these other better things going on.
And, when people can move to owner finance and, the way that we do it, it is the best way to make long-term cash flow that I have participated in. It's very predictable. We will sell it. So they have, like you said, they bought it. We don't do rent to own. They bought it. They own it. They're making a monthly payment to us. And I like long-term mortgage notes. If you want to pay me every month for 30 years, you and I have zero problems.
Yeah.
But that number is also can be a lot more predictable in your cash flow than rentals. Not anti-rental. Rentals, great. Yeah. But when you get to principal and interest payment each month, it doesn't change. I know what this is. It's $1,500. I know what it is. It's this every single time. There's not a lot of work involved once you had them set up right. Yeah. And so you've got this, and then you can really start to build off that and be really predictable what you're going to have come in without, water heaters, taxes change, things that just happen when you own rental property.
And by being the bank, you can create the terms differentiator on each property. Maybe somebody has more down and bad credit, but you've done enough research. You're like, okay, this is good. I'll take more money down, take the risk, because what's the worst thing? I'm going to just take it back, even though nobody really wants to do that.
We don't want to do that. We don't set ours up. And we shy away from folks with bad credit. That's not ours, but there is a ton of people out there with no credit.
Yeah.
They're not bad. They just don't have any at all. And they may have, our average sale price here in San Antonio when we owner finance, so the pockets we owner finance
after renovation. Then,
we're probably selling around 185, 190. And so affordable. That a lot of those people they just don't, They don't use credit cards. They don't have truck payments.
Yeah.
But they've got $25,000, $30,000 to put down.
And a good job. Yeah.
And they make plenty of money.
Yeah.
And we have a lot where our DTIs, they have no other fixed debt. Never had a credit card. Don't have a truck payment. They don't have another payment.
It's so crazy because I would just, like I'm buying a property for my daughter now, and the, lender, I got my taxes. I did them the right way. So I didn't pay a lot of taxes. And they're like, oh, well, now you're in trouble. Oh, great. Now I got to use a DSCR loan just for this. But like these people could never qualify for a regular mortgage, and they're making a plenty of money, and they're very upstanding. No bills outlaid, and they can't buy a house.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And we found that niche here in our market.
Great market for it too, though. San Antonio, a lot of like hard workers who just aren't going to go in on the debt.
It's exactly what it is. Exactly who we align well with on our owner finance. And a lot of them, they make plenty of money. They don't, they're just good folks. But like you said, they are never going to walk into Wells Fargo and get a loan. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, really, these strategies are great. And I just think it's an alternative cash flow mechanism that people can look at and not think, hey, well, I just want to become a wholesaler. Well, you do need capital to get in. How did you work out the capital in the beginning to make sure that you either had the relationships or had the money or the access so that you could start buying multiple homes and then figuring out which ones to lipstick flip, which ones to fix up and then owner finance out to them?
So capital is huge. Anybody that's starting to grow this business, it's bigger. Anybody who's beginning, it's more important than you think it is, even if you think it's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more important than you think. And so as I started, I was doing things a more traditional way. You put some money down. But as you're looking to grow more, you're going to run out of your own capital. And so building relationships, and everybody should start early. We have borrowed a lot of money. Most of it is from private lenders, but that doesn't happen the day that you have a deal and, hey, I need to close on Monday. That starts early, and establishing a track record. There's plenty of people out there with money who, and it's not about, everybody makes this mistake too. Well, here's the return that I'm going to give you, and you're going to get this, and here's my project. No, if they don't trust you with their money, the return can be 1,000,000%. You're not getting it, right? They need to have a reason to trust you and feel like their money's protected, and then you have to give them a fair rate of return for what the risk is. But once you establish a few of those, and when I first started, it was a couple of different guys with, about $300,000 each, and we just use the money over and over and over and over. And over. We give it back.
Your price point's great there for what you're buying at, so you really can do it without someone who needs to really put a ton of money. Obviously, that's a lot of money, but yeah, I think that's really important. You're picking a return that works for them, and I've found that level of private lender, they like to know they're a little bit involved in real estate, but they're too busy to do the flips themselves. And they might say, hey, send me the pictures. Wow, great job. I made a fixed return. Maybe one day they want to JV something, but then they'll realize why they don't want to do it.
Yep. A lot of people that flipped one house have become private lenders for us.
Right. Exactly. They're like, I'm out. Let me just watch from afar. Smart.
A lot of folks that are landlords that have they like monthly checks coming in or monthly cash flow, but they don't want to be a landlord anymore. They work great. They work great for people to buy notes from you. They just want to be very, very passive. Those are great people to start with. And then as it grew, we developed some bank relationships. Those were very, very helpful as we had a portfolio. So we could take the portfolio there, and smaller banks. I would tell everybody smaller banks, like 6 branches, 8 branches, like very local. And we were fortunate enough to build some relationships there, and they really helped us scale what we could hold on to, not only in rentals, but also in the notes that we could hold on to.
Yeah. That's similar, though. It's personal touch with a smaller bank. Like they know you, they can bet on you more, just like you're betting on these home buyers more with no credit. You're like, well, I'm in this so I can take the risk. And those smaller banks, you don't walk into a Chase. They're like, oh, get out of here. First of all, I don't want to go into a Chase anyway. It's just like, the industry's so messed up in the mortgage area that way for some people. And especially with rates, now you can set your rates, set your terms. If you're just average, when you're doing that owner finance out to them, what's the average down payment you're taking on these like 185, 190K homes?
Yeah. So our average is between 25, 30,000 of a total financial commitment. So we'll say, hey, it's this much to get in, but that will include their closing costs.
Right.
We have everybody prepay escrows. So total financial commitment between 25 and 30,000. we have people that have more. We had a lady last month. She's like, well, I have 50. Yeah, sure. Great.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, dial it down a little bit. Yeah.
But that's what it is. It ends up being about 10% most of the time when it shakes out.
And for those buyers of your properties, a lot of times they're just looking for what their monthly is going to be. So you can really fix the deal. They're just saying like, look, I need to pay $1,500. I don't really care how you make to do it. Can I pay $1,500? And then you can structure it the way you want, where it's a win-win for everybody.
You can. We have our system pretty much set now. But yes, the most common questions we get asked from people that are buying, how much down?
Yeah.
How much per month? Before they even ask the sales price. Right.
I don't think it matters as much. Just like we were saying that the sale price doesn't matter as much when you're off market buying. It's really solving the problem. Mm-hmm. This is the same thing.
Yep.
They know they don't have access to traditional loans, and they know what they can afford a month that's going to make sense.
Right. We sell ours at fair market value. There are some people that say, I really believe you should do that. And I believe it's the right way to do owner finance. We do that, but we don't get asked that as much as we get the other two questions.
Yeah.
And ours, we have our interest rate set. I mean, I'll share our typical interest rate, 10.9. If somebody brings a large down payment and wants to talk about, well, of course, right? Because they're automatically reducing the risk. But we make 15, 20, and 30-year mortgages. And the reason that we stay at the 10.9, we hold them, but people will buy them. The most passive investor, right? He's like, hey, I'd like one of those. I've got at 10.9, I've got 150,000. Can I buy one from you? We will sell them, and we have to be at a certain spot. And people expect they want 10.9%, but they don't want to do any of the steps that were involved in it. And so that's usually what that's how it looks like for our process.
Hey, it's Jonathan. I hope you're enjoying this local homebuyer show with Nick Disney, and we're talking a lot about San Antonio. And one company that I know that also does business in San Antonio, but from a passive sense, is my friends at Rent to Retirement. So if you're looking for turnkey real estate in the San Antonio area and a few others, and they have a lot of new builds going on still in San Antonio where there is cash flow, you can use my link at Bitly. And remember, Bitly is always bit.ly R2RZen. That is 2 as in the number, so R2RZen after Bitly. Let's get back to Nick. What do you think the biggest impediment for people scaling this business is? Because you really seem like you figured out how to go in a few different directions to actually make money. And I feel like a lot of people get stuck trying to do this. They either buy a franchise or they get like a ton of marketing and they just overwhelm themselves with leads. But where do you think the biggest struggle is from what you've seen?
I think the biggest struggle is people often don't know really what their goal is and they're trying to accomplish. They're like, well, I want to make money.
Well, yeah, exactly.
That's not it, right? Do you want cash flow? Do you want your time back? Do you want your freedom? And that changes as you grow. But are the things that you're doing going to produce that? Where the most cash flow we get, say, is from our notes, where rentals you get cash flow. Well, yeah, but it's not the same as here. Or do you need things that? Are you at a spot where today we don't have a ton of capital to invest ourselves? That is a big, big sticking point for most people. Well, how much time are you spending getting more capital? If it's 5%, and that's the main thing that's stopping your business, then that's something you should look at. And I think capital and really, really, really knowing where you're going with a plan is what slows people down a lot. Don't just do something because somebody else does, because it may not work out for you.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking about the difference between rental properties and then selling them out on owner finance. And it's like, okay, this is making a lot more sense. But people are thinking, I just want to accumulate a rental portfolio and count the doors. But rental portfolio, you're doing all the repairs, you're paying the taxes. If you buy a condo, you're paying the HOA. If you're owner finance selling it to the buyer, they're paying all that. Exactly. You're just the bank collecting stuff the easy way. It's way more passive.
It's way more passive and the cash flow is higher. Yeah. If you have 10 rental properties and people are like, hey, I've got these 10 doors, which I think is awesome. And there's big advantages to it, especially on the equity side and the wealth long-term, it's great. But if it's $300 a month, per door, oh, well, then a water heater went out. Well, that's 3 months, and
I know.
and all this. And so the cash flow is not really there. Even they're good investments, but the cash flow not be there. Well, if you had that much money and you had hypothetically 10 free and clear notes, well, if those are paying $1,500 a month, well, now you've got a lot more cash flow that isn't impacted by things like turnover, all the bad things about that, and your time. The time you get back.
Yeah, and no calls for the plumbing. I mean, you're not getting a Christmas Eve call. Hey, my toilet's clogged. Cool, you own the house, fix it. Yeah. I mean, it's a much different scenario than being a landlord, which most of us, secretly hate, just like flipping. It sounds good in theory until you do it, and then it's much more difficult. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a really smooth business principle that you've created. Have you had to foreclose on many homes over the years, or do you always kind of find a way to work it out?
Not many. It's rare that we have to foreclose. There are going to be times if you do enough mortgages that you have to foreclose.
Yeah, I mean, someone could just lose a job. I mean, something can happen.
Life still happens to people, and they don't mean to. In 2023, we had 0. 2024, we had 0 all year.
Yeah.
And so, but it starts with, just like if you're a landlord and really screening your tenants and really picking the tenants that are going to be successful there, that's the first step. And then we do require more of a financial commitment up front. So that does a couple of things. It does financially commit them to their home, but it also shows that they worked hard. It's not easy to save that much money.
Yeah.
So they worked hard for it. And then just experience and people that we think will be set up for success. So we're not trying to do that. But if someone chooses not to pay, yes, we have to get the house back. It's $150,000. You can't just have it because you didn't feel like paying. And so we have very few, and it's not as scary or hard as people think. I send an email to the attorney and they do it. I don't really, I'm not at the courthouse, making an auction. Right?
Yeah. I wanted to go back to the wholesale for a second because I want to get your take on this. I found that it's just absolutely amazing to me that just cleaning up the house and even just painting a couple things, touching things up, anything that's broken, just fixing it. I mean, spending a very limited amount of money can make you so much money. And you have the wholesalers out there, because a lot of them don't have money, that are just sitting there trying to sell something for a high price, where if you have the capital and a little bit of know-how, all you have to do is clean it, put it back on the open market where everybody can see it. And now you have a million more opportunities for flippers. And look, there's a lot of first-time home buyers who will take on something that's not perfect, at the right price, right? Especially right now where I am.
I think you're absolutely right, and especially where we've seen a lot of success with it, or they're relatively cleaner properties. This isn't a foundation and the roof's falling off and everything like that. But, I mean, some people are just dirty. Like we've thrown the couch away and the dust is this high.
Yeah.
But it's like you just hadn't cleaned in the last 12 years. And
sometimes they're just like they moved and they left a bunch of stuff, and the wholesaler's just leaving it. Like they just don't even think like, can we just get like one garbage haul? It costs like a couple $100. Just go on Facebook Marketplace. Someone will garbage haul this stuff. Like just that. And just like getting the cleaners to come in for $100, you can make like $10,000 that way. There's no question about it.
You can make that. And what people also miss is, okay, well, if I borrow the money from Mr. Smith, I'm going to have to pay him $3,000. But you made 10, so you get to keep 7 more. Right. That's a pretty good deal. I think that they just miss it. And lots of times cleaning it up, cutting the grass,
exactly.
Sometimes it's this high, like.
Yeah, and look, those are the telltale signs if you're using an app or if you've gone old school driving for dollars like me. Those are all the things you look for. So you don't want it to look like that anymore. Fix the broken windows. I know it's a cost, but like these are the things that people think, hey, it's going to be a problem. And when you're doing a wholesale, you're not doing a flip. So you're not saying nothing's wrong with it. One thing, I don't know, I want to get your take on this as well. So I've done a few of those. And what I would do is I would have my home inspector come do the whole inspection. I would just give them the inspection because I'm like, that's going to be a better sale for me because someone just read the whole inspection report. I'm not hiding anything. I don't want to trick you. Like just read the report. Now the offers that come in, it's based on the report. This is what you're getting, because that I think is the holdup for newer people who go in with wholesale. Like I know what I'm looking at when I look at a house, but if even you've done 2 or 3 and you go in and you're trying to buy from a wholesaler, and they're not going to disclose anything, or they honestly don't know.
They don't know. Mm-hmm.
That's a hard buy if you're brand new. And I just think you can clean up the process so much by giving like a little bit more transparency in that turnover when you're going to do that lipstick wholesale.
I think transparency is key. We haven't done the inspection before we put them out there, but I'm not against the idea. We tell people, hey, this is what it is, right? Take a look, and do whatever you want to do. But when you've purchased it, right, whether it's your money or you borrowed the money to purchase it, it also gives you a lot more time to do all these things. And I think the point you made earlier, okay, if we just threw all the trash away, cleaned it up, cut the grass, so many people would walk in there and be like, whoa, where they'd walk in and be like, wait, I can paint? Almost everybody can paint. Bad. Right?
What about pulling up the carpet? You pull up the carpet and then there's nice hardwood floors underneath. You're like, whoa. And they haven't been walked on in 35 years. Right. I mean, I love old people homes. Like you have this extremely padded carpet. You're just hoping for the best and you pull it up. And look, sometimes even if it doesn't look that great, it looks better than the carpet with, 300, dog pee stains.
Right.
Because that can make you a lot of extra money, though, because it just presents a little bit better and your photographs are going to look good.
And a lot more people feel like, okay, I'm capable of this. And they work great with the ones that don't have, big foundation problems, major issues. And so I would look to go that direction for people as soon as they can. But they need to start, they need access to capital to do it. And so that needs to be part of it as you're building your business and growing and start talking to people about capital before you need it.
Yeah. Well, you also made a lot of relationships with other local home buyers in San Antonio when you were getting started. How important was that to you to know other investors doing what you wanted to do more? Because I always feel like people are missing that, like the true reps and the true relationship. They're talking to their cousin who flipped a home in Iowa once, trying to learn what to do in their local market. And it's like, well, why don't you just talk to someone in a local market who's done 100 of these?
I think one of the best things, I've told this story quite a few times. One of the best things that I ever did, and my only regret is I didn't do it 5 years sooner. Right? There was a guy, he's here, he's local, tons of experience, doing exactly what I wanted to do. And people say, well, go talk to him. But I didn't just want to just talk to him because that happens now. We're busy, right? I don't want to be mean, but we can't just talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like add value. I wholesaled him a house, and I knew I could have wholesaled it for about $5,000 more.
Yeah,
right?
That's a great idea. I already love this.
And at the time, I was like, this was a lot of money. Like I could have really used it.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I did. He knew he had a good deal, and when I did that, I had added value to his business. That guy has taught me so much stuff. He helped me go from here to a level I didn't even really know we could do. And it was because I added a value, I was genuine, and he knew I helped him. And he had no problem helping me. Yeah. I can call him right now and ask him a question. And it was an absolute game changer. I wish I'd have done that. Hey, you could give up $2,000, $3,000. But if I bring Jonathan a deal where he makes money, you have experience, that I'm adding value to your business. Now it's much easier for you to give your time back to me. And it was one of the best things that I did.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge lesson for people. I always say I live in New Jersey. People are taking huge swings at wholesale. I mean, they're trying to get, 20, 30 grand. And you're just like, what are you doing? This is your first deal. Just get $5,000 and build a relationship. And also learn how to do repair costs and ARV. And if you don't know, just say I'm still getting started. This is the best I can do. I used a book, but I don't know how much a hot water heater costs. I mean, find out. But right. I agree with you. I think it's what a bridge to a relationship to just say, hey, I was trying to get 10 on this, but you've been doing this forever. I'll sell it to you for 5. Can I come over? Can I just see what you do with it? Because then you have a link to that property. Can I just swing by anytime to just see the flip? Yeah, great. That sounds great. Unbelievable.
Absolutely. And yes, if you're getting started trying to wholesale things and you don't know, and you're talking to them as an experience, don't just say all the stuff that you know because they know that you don't know. All right.
Yeah. When you use 7 acronyms, we all know that you don't know anything. You're just on BiggerPockets all day.
Yeah. Or they call me up and they're like, hey, man, this is perfect for you. It's already owner finance ready. I'm like, oh, Oh, cool. How many houses have you owner financed? Oh, none.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know? I don't know. Somebody else said it probably was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe let's just talk about it, right?
Yeah. Do you ever buy from wholesalers now, or do you just buy all direct from your own marketing?
We'll buy from some. There are good wholesalers out there. I have long-term relations from them. Most of the wholesales that we buy now are other home buyers that we have relationships with. They're like, hey, this is what you buy. You want to buy it from us? Sure.
Yeah,
right?
That's awesome. Yeah,
and those are great. We do buy some from wholesalers because we've been around a long time and people know, and they're like, hey, these guys will buy in that area. Sometimes if somebody comes and we don't know them and they're really genuine, they're like, hey, I've got this. I resonate with that. Like, hey, I've got this lead. I really think it's a deal, but can I trust you? Like, what would you pay? And I'm like, all right, we're probably going to pay right about this. So just all you got to do is get it for less. And they're like, great. And so that's worked out for us.
That's a great gauge for someone who's new, though. You can tell them, like, if you can get it for this, I'm telling you, you're going to get a $5,000 spread on this. So let's go, go. And it's nice for them to go try to work it out. I think that's super helpful too, because I feel like wholesaling in general has a bad reputation for a reason, because honestly, most wholesalers are just in it for the money and they're not taking care of the people. But there's also a lot of good wholesalers, which are generally, I always say, they're local home buyers who are just good at marketing. So they end up with overage and they're like, I can't take down 26 homes this month. Yeah. So I got to dish some of these out to my friends, which is what you're saying. Those relationships in that local home buying community are so important, because I love what you said, that somebody could be like, yeah, this isn't our bag, but I think Nick buys this. This is like literally his wheelhouse. Like, let's just trade him out.
That's how it goes. I got a text this morning, I've known this guy probably 15 years now. And it was like, hey, if I got this for this, will you buy it? Yeah, we probably would, It's just not what he does. And so everybody wins on deals like that because, like you said, he's got the lead, he's marketing, he doesn't really wholesale much, but, creates a win-win.
Yeah, one thing that I found across this whole conversation interesting that I think can be helpful to others, I look at what you've told me, it doesn't seem like you have to scale anymore. Like, you've created a very repeatable, systematic business. Well, I think too many people are like, oh, how am I going to get bigger and bigger? Do you even need to get bigger at this point? It sounds like you're running like a very solid, you may grow by accident, but, are you thinking in your head, I need to scale, or are you fine?
I'm not so much thinking in my head that I need to scale. Some of the things that we've done and where we built things with the cash flow, I'm not a person that's going to retire. That's not in my nature.
That just seems so boring, right? It's unbelievable.
I like to do deals, but I don't want to scale. I don't want to have a 30-person team.
Right.
There are some other things that I might like to do in and around the business, some more stuff on the lending side and things like that, being either short-term and, some different long-term. So those excite me because I do like growth, but it's really right in our wheelhouse. Because so that's probably where our next step is.
Ancillary instead of scaling the same thing. You just get big as you do, your marketing probably generates, your reputation generates, but then, I think it's a great idea. Then you can build something, a little bit off to the side. That I like building stuff. So I'm always looking for something that's like a little bit of a sidecar riding next door.
And I do too. And I like the lending side, I like the passiveness of it when you have good folks. And even other good investors, is you have capital. I've always said your capital is as safe as the operator of the deal. I don't care how good a deal it is. I've seen people that had smokers and just fell apart.
Yeah.
It's as good. But when you have really good people that are out there that are doing deals, and there's ones in every market, as you have capital, you can lend to them and it's very passive, and it's not a lot of stress. It's in and out. They make money, you make money. And so probably more of that, and keeping our processes, keep getting a little bit better and better with the owner finance part of the business. Yeah. But that's kind of where I want to be right now.
Before, when you said the 10.9%, that's what the people who are buying your homes on the owner finance are paying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. What when in the beginning, when you were getting private money, what was the general like ballpark on the percentage that was fair at that time, and has it gotten better for you?
Oh, it's definitely gotten better.
Yeah. The beginning's always a crapshoot.
I tell people, because in the beginning I paid 14% and 3 points.
Yeah. That's like a first time hard money deal right now still. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was happy to get it because I wouldn't have given me the money. Right.
Right. I can get money. It's to cost what it costs. Yeah.
I was lucky to get it. And then it's grown. We still work with a lot of private lenders now. We typically pay a straight 10%.
Yeah, it's nice. That's a great win-win. I've seen people like in the business 30 years that have people that'll do it for 8, but like 10's really like a fair across the board because it matches that second digit. So you feel like this is like a very solid return. It's also a good return for you because you have good systems. You know exactly what you're going to do. So your timeline is going to be what you want it to be.
Exactly. And we have people that, and I hear people all the time, wow, man, I'm going to get him to 9. It's like $100 a month, exactly. And you're like beating this guy up. It's funding your business. We can pay the 10. Let's just give them the 10. It's a good return for them, and so that's typically what we'll pay. There's always, well, I get this and that, and I'm like, I understand it, and I hope that's great. You don't get me and this and that, but if you can get that somewhere else, then good for you. Like I'm happy for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Nick, is the best place for people to find you and get in touch with you at sellmysanantoniohouse.com?
So you can definitely find me through there. You can always send me an email. I like to talk to people. I like to connect with people in the business and see how we can help each other, how we can network. So I tell people, don't hesitate to reach out. You can always send me an email, nick@sellmysanantoniohouse.com. And then, we try our best to put out information, especially on Instagram. Real estate Nick, _Nick, number 1. Yeah.
Got to remember the underscore. Yeah.
Right. Got to get that in there. So we try to put a lot of information out there, but there's almost always a way that two people with the right attitude, they can work together in some way. And so would love to talk to anybody who either I can help or we can help each other.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. It's been a great show. I just like talking about home buying because I grew up with a dad who was dragging me to houses and making uncomfortable offers at yard sales. I was like, it's just like my wheelhouse to talk about it. So
I love it.
Thanks so much for spending the time.
No, thanks for having me, Ian. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right. That was Nick Disney. He's the founder of sellmysanantoniohouse.com. I just told you where to find him. I'm Jonathan Green. We'll see you next episode. Thanks for sticking around so you can find out who's coming up on the next episode of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing. Episode 264 brings Joel Miller to the mic. Joel is the author of Build Real Estate Wealth, Enjoy the Journey of Rental Property Investment, and he should know he's been investing in rental real estate since 1978. Old school like myself. We'll see you next episode with Joel.